How are we doing, guys? We're actually live tonight. Made sure of it. Hit the button extra early this time. StreamYard has been making some of the functionalities a bit difficult to find these days, so that's why we actually did almost do a dry run last week, I believe, where we didn't actually go live for the first 5 minutes. But we are live now. I want to make sure I was vamping on purpose, but we're live. Donnie, Guff, how are we doing?
Doing good.
It's awesome. It is awesome today.
Now, we did do better in the spread picks in terms of we're starting to see some green. This week, though, Gov got all the green. So maybe Gov is finally making that push that Donnie's been afraid of this whole time. But I will say our show pick failed again. I think
we are so good at current. Like, can we just bet against the Bills every single week, please?
Maybe what we need to do is pick the team that we think's going to lose and they'll win.
No. We've done it twice with my team, and we're 500. So let's do the Pats next week and just
no. It's a Thursday game. We can't. It's a Thursday game.
Fuck off. Watch them lose to the Jets.
No. Please stop.
Oh, dang me. There we
go. Justin Fields is going to have 5 passing yards again.
I did think Aaron Glenn was going to have a good year with the Jets. I didn't expect the Jets to get all 6 wins, though, back-to-back weeks. So, I mean, leave it to Glenn to actually start winning now that when they just, fire sale their team.
Anyway, our not so much lock of the week is down to 3-7. We've never gone under 500. We are dangerously close to that now. We need to rail off at least 4 just to stay alive.
The problem is I'm not giving you guys I'm not going to agree if it's the one that I really want for the week, because I also need to go 2-0 like 3 weeks in a row here.
Yeah. Gov in last place, even after the good week at 8-12. I'm 2 games ahead of him at 10-10 after my awful week, and Logan ahead in the lead, still 12-8. I mean, well, this might be Logan's year.
I don't think I've said it much this season, but I do want to mention we picked these at the last minute. Like on Friday. It's the worst time to do spreads. Like this, when the market's very smart, Vegas is usually pretty tight. The fact that we have as good a record as we do, I think, is actually quite telling. It's actually hard to pick the games this late in the week.
For reference, this morning when I woke up, the Patriots-Jets game, which is on Thursday, obviously, it was 11.5. It's all the way to 13.5 today. It's only getting worse.
Yeah.
Like, you can't bet these numbers sometimes when it gets late. And we just kind of, obviously we're not putting it in, so we're not losing anything. It's for the competitive aspect, and we need a tiebreak for the captain anyway, so it works out.
And usually I'll tell you if I'm actually tailing or putting money on it, but it is funny because like on Sunday, the lines really do change. I would challenge anyone to do this. So I think it's a fun thing. And it actually puts your football knowledge to the test. Because I would tell you our show picks are actually pretty good each week. I truly believe they're going to win, and yet we almost have a losing record.
Okay. Do you have the lineup ready, Logan?
I actually don't. I'm behind. But I will say DFS is a lot like that, though, too. A lot of weeks where you're like losing until you win. Like that. It's just not one of those sports or one of those strategy games where you're going to win a ton.
Oh boy.
Well then.
That's a new one.
Yeah.
You did say StreamYard is doing some weird shit. Wow.
We are still live, though. Yeah,
that's going to be great. Oh,
all right.
Wow.
We do have a comment. We can't pull it up on screen because the host of the StreamYard is gone. But
that might have been what he was doing. He might have been trying to click that and then clicked out somehow. We'll see. I'm sure he'll try to get back in as soon as he can.
What do you think? May, Henry, Judkins, JSN. That's a stack.
That's Hendy.
So like Henderson. Oh, you're so right.
Yeah. So May, Henderson, Judkins. Like, okay, who's his other running backs? Harvey. Bucky. I mean, I could maybe, if Bucky's back, I would start him.
Yeah, if it's a keeper, I mean, I don't know where Corum fits in this team.
If Bucky's back, I play him. Otherwise, I think your running backs are fine.
I got to ask where Corum fits in this team. Has he ever made your lineup? Was he there for injuries?
Fine at tight end.
Yeah, we're just going over comment. Welcome back.
JSN and Ibuka. Those are two solid wide receivers.
Where's Justin Jefferson? Jettis?
Yeah, I think you know what happened. I
just a handcuff. I don't love Corum as a handcuff anymore. It's getting late in the year. I think that might be time to think about something if there's something available. Just because that wide receiver room looks kind of thin at the back end.
It's these. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, so I did the classic thing where I just closed the wrong tab at the wrong time.
It's wonderful. It's wonderful. It was great. It was fine. We stayed live. Everything worked. You're good.
Yeah, I see we got like 2 comments now. Like the show.
Yeah, we're just talking fantasy football, you know. Hey, I had a Jonathan Taylor and Trayvon Henderson this week, and I lost my league, so scored 151 to lose.
Oh, dude, the guy who added Jonathan Taylor in our Guillotine League lost this week.
No.
Like, oh my God.
That's gonna be a bidding war.
It already was, and he bid everything he had to get him.
And to be fair, he spent all his money on a 49-point scorer if it's PPR, and still lost. I guess he didn't lose anything in that regard. He put all of his cards on the table.
Yeah.
You go out and you're just like, all right, I just happened to lose this time. This was the lineup.
This was our lineup.
Yeah. Interesting that Gabriel hit, huh?
It had seriously at 1 o'clock though. If you told me,
if we would have just had Judy instead of Tillman, it actually would have kept us on pace. So
you know what's funny? We said
was I really wrong?
We said if we had Gabriel and Tillman score as 8 and 8 each, if they just give us that, and they actually gave us more than
we were looking at Gabriel, Tillman, and the Browns defense getting us like 45. That's like 15 apiece.
Yeah, and then we just didn't get any pushback from the Commanders because like that first drive with St. Brown like really good. He basically scored like 90% of his fantasy points.
Gibbs had the monster day, like that sort of capped Montgomery. Although Montgomery's like 2-point conversion.
He didn't hurt us.
Exactly.
He didn't help, but he didn't hurt. Henderson would have been the guy to go with in that regard.
Dowdle at his chalking it like 55%. He was super chalky. That failed.
Yeah, but like we were in on the chalk. So is it like
we missed on the wrong chalk? There was another chalk running back that absolutely smashed.
But assuming you guys didn't watch a lot of that Browns game, actually Tillman drew a pass interference of like 40 yards on a pass that he probably would have caught had he not been interfered with, which would have been a long game. So like their success was, I think, due to a lot of Tillman stuff because like he opened up Jerry Jeudy. I felt like a lot. Like there was some chances at some red zone attempts for Tillman where if he comes down with it, obviously. So like I think the theory of the play was actually good. It just we didn't get.
I would have to go back and look at and I might here this week when I get a chance and go back and look at the tape, but I have a feeling they probably put their better corner and defense on Tillman, and now Jeudy was up against the second corners.
The Bills giving zero push hurts our tight end a lot in Dolchich. Like you told me coming into this, the Bills scored 13. I would have told you were crazy. Like they were going to win 13-6.
No, I told you the Bills play like shit in Miami. This is just a thing.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, I guess. I mean,
it's almost like tight end week where people didn't want to like believe tight end week was a thing, and then it became. I think
the Miami home advantage against their division is a thing.
It is a thing. No, as a Patriots fan, I know it's a thing.
New England doesn't play very well in Miami. Buffalo doesn't play very well in Miami. Even when they are great teams, they do not play well. Not that they might still win, but they won't play well. And Buffalo honestly hadn't been playing well all year. They'd only had like 2 good games.
Yeah, no, they definitely
and one good quarter against Baltimore.
And may I
say one Kansas City, one other game, and a quarter against Baltimore where they came back and won.
Yeah.
That's all they've looked good this year. Otherwise, they've had penalties. They've been sloppy. And they just let Miami do what they wanted.
If a couple
Miami
of those
did
games
what they had, which was feed A-Chain. And that's why he was chalk, because that's all the projections do. All it's going to do is feed A-Chain.
So I looked it up. Tillman caught 2 passes. He was targeted on 4, and one of them, like I said, was a red zone target. I know for sure. And the other one, he was a long pass he drew for pass interference.
Well, that wouldn't go on a target as a stat sheet. That wouldn't show up on a target.
Oh, wouldn't. So that would have been 5. And so
was he 0.9%?
Yes.
Yeah.
So he's a play again this upcoming week, I'm sure.
I don't regret that play at all. What's unfortunate is this team had the right PMR too in some of the right spots. Like St. Brown, like I say, got 90% of his work in that first quarter, and then just Gibbs. It was like every other play Gibbs broke off was like a 40-yard run, and he had his day.
If you told me the Rams put up 42 points, I'd say, so Puka has 25, Devontae has 25, whatever.
Right.
But no. Wow.
And I do think it's like, I said something to our private chat earlier of like, Justin Jefferson has not been nobody in the Vikings offense has been good fantasy production anytime JJ McCarthy's played.
That was my next.
I knew that coming into the season, which is why I've been extra low on JJ.
I have been very low on Jefferson myself this year, but like I 12 targets is something. But if those 12 targets are all caught by the other team, it doesn't really matter, Logan.
I don't know, man. If you tell me that I can get JJ for under 8K again, and
you'll get him for under 8K. Don't worry.
So he's under 8K.
If JJ gets to 6,900, I might play him.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
His good weeks have all come with Carson Wentz.
But you're going to say he's under 8K and he's still getting this target volume? Like, I still think I'm going to pay up for it. I don't know.
This is no slight on Justin Jefferson. He should be a 9K receiver almost. But he has J.J. McCarthy throwing him ducks and just closing his eyes and throwing up the Eli Manning Super Bowl prayer. And guess what? That doesn't get caught usually.
Well, first of all, he likes to throw to Naylor, so maybe that's the guy we should be targeting. But I'm sorry. Like, call me the Flintstones if you want. Bash me over the head with a bat if you want to. But I'm telling you, anytime JJ is under 8K, getting over 10 targets a game, I'm going to play it. I'll probably play it again this week.
I don't know the data on it, but I'd love to see how many of those 12 targets were touched by a defender last week. I know at least 2 of them were.
He was blanketed. I will say he's not getting any separation, like none.
Because defenses know you take away J.J. McCarthy's number one option, it's like, things start to get sloppy.
Some of that, though, I think is on Justin, though. If I was just to look at, like, he's just not getting any separation, Donnie. And I know you got to throw your receiver open somewhat, but I still think he's really supremely talented. It's just, I don't know. I honestly think
McCarthy's had a couple good plays here and there, and mostly stinkers. And I think it's mostly McCarthy at this point. If Carson Wentz made it work, then there's a problem.
He is a fun play, though, because he runs so much. He's still got almost 17 fantasy points.
No, so, he was a fine DFS play, but when we start looking at the grand scheme of things, I mean, his alter ego, as he calls it, 9 came out, and he, in honor of that, he throws 9 interceptions already on the year.
I mean, his fantasy comparison is like a Bo Nix in terms of like kind of what you'd expect. So it is kind of a helter-skelter kind of performance. You're not wrong.
Yeah, Bo also, I have a couple bones to pick with Bo, but I'll give him a slight because it's his second year in the league and he had a good first year, so he gets a light pass. You need to show me you can play at least somewhat. McCarthy hasn't yet, so he still gets bashed every time I get the chance.
Before I close my tabs like an amateur and left you guys to vamp, I was saying that DFS really is a game where you just got to prepare yourself for almost this like starvation of this like Hunger Games kind of mentality where it's like most weeks you're going to lose, but each week you're kind of chipping away at like a deeper and greater process. And
can you show the best lineup this week?
That we have the number 1 lineup?
Yeah, because I mean, Taylor's not on this slate, which I think it's interesting that somebody still got up to 241, 20 above the comp.
Yeah, it had to be a Jared Goff.
Anderson having a great game.
I actually had a Jared Goff lineup this week too, and that's.
I did too. I was going to show that on my way out here.
Is this okay? It's Goff, JMO. Yeah.
Jets defense.
I forgot JMO hit that big one. Yeah.
Yeah. By the way, while we're on the Jets game, because I see the Jets defense scored 19 because of 2 defensive touchdowns. I was not aware that punt return touchdowns and like special teams touchdowns went against the defensive score of the other, because I played a decent amount of Browns defense this week as well. So
I did too.
Special teams touchdowns hurt my Browns defense, and then I was mad.
I know it didn't hurt the yardage of the defense, but it still hurts the point total, which I wasn't quite sure
tight
about.
end with Kittle and McBride. Okay, that makes sense. Ibuka was a good, solid play. You played him with Henderson as a mini. You had your Goff stack with Debo Bring. Like, this is so extremely solidly built. Like, you have a Goff stack with a bringback. Mm-hmm. You have a Henderson mini with Ibuka. Mm-hmm. You played chalk A-chain. 2 tight ends for value, but they were like stud tight ends in Kittle and McBride. And then whatever defense was left, you played the Jets against Cleveland. Because, of course, the Jets were going to galvanize after the fire sale and rise as a phoenix of a defense.
Football's weird, man. Football's just weird.
Or they sold everyone on offense is pissed. They sold everyone on defense, but the special teams.
I just think Aaron Glenn's going to get that team turned around one way or the other. But speaking of that kind of culture of Aaron Glenn and the Detroit Lions, I did expect Jared Goff to have a bounce back game. And we did say we were going to keep track of more of the news and late breaking news and make adjustments to lineups. I'm a Lion fan. The one thing I didn't anticipate is Dan Campbell basically deciding the night before the game he was going to start calling the offense. Like he basically stripped the offensive coordinator from calling that game. I hadn't heard anything about that up until like 5 minutes before the game started. Not only was Dan involved in the game plan, because that's what the report was, he was the one actually calling it. Like he had the clipboard, he had the glasses, he was fully in charge. And as soon as that happened, I said, this is a JMO week, because the 2 weeks prior, the offensive coordinator for the Lions was basically like apologizing to JMO, and I'm like, okay, because I had a Jameson Williams lineup with Jared Goff. You think it's doing great, but it had St. Brown in it, and obviously he's snowflake.
That's what happened. I had no JMO. I had a lot of Amon-Ra, so not a great.
I had Gibbs too that just didn't catch. So that's what I'm saying about defense. It's a hard game, and you can have a lot of things right and just not have the right combinations of things and not get there.
And Ibuka got 100 yards almost in the first half of just breaking apart the zone of the Patriots defense, and then he kind of disappeared. Tez Johnson had 2 late touchdowns. Like, that's weird. That's a really weird week.
You're a perfect example of it, Danny, where it's like, you have a certain process. You don't normally play showdown, but everything aligned for you to feel confident in that showdown. So you took your process to that showdown, and you ended up winning it because you didn't try to get too cute. You didn't try to do something. That was exactly your kind of, where
I usually do play the defensive showdowns. I like playing defense, so if I think it's going to be a low-scoring game, I will take advantage of that.
Exactly, and then there was value to make that defense. So that's what I mean, like,
I will probably play it this week as well, but that's Patriots games. I usually always play Patriots Showdown.
But Gov hit on it. We got 40 points in the Rams and that PMR game with Puka snowflaking. Like, I'm sorry, you told me that Puka is going to score 42 points. I'm going to play him in most slates if I know the Rams are putting up 42. Like, I don't think we did much wrong. It's just we didn't get the results we needed.
Yeah, but we were on the right offenses a lot, I think.
Yeah, that's what I mean. And I think that's what this season comes down to. Tell me if I'm wrong. It's not so much the players now. You got to get your game environments right. You got to know what game's going to hit. Like, you got to kind of predict that and just overload the game. That's what it seems like this season anyways.
Yeah, I stand by Kyle Williams getting that one catch for, like, that huge yardage. Like, if you played that, you made an awful play and he just happened to hit. I stand by, and I like Kyle Williams, but he's not getting passing work. He didn't get any work after that. Like, it's a weird play. Good on you if you got it, but
hey, we got it in best ball, Donnie. Does that count?
Yeah, we got it in season long, predicting that it should ramp up, but it is not ramped up at all, and he happened to get his 1 week.
Yeah. Go
best
back.
ball, it's a shot on goal. That's different.
Goes in the laboratory. I can tell. Whenever the fingers go near the mouth, go. I can tell you're like in deep thought. You're about to drop some knowledge.
Not really. Like, can I see, like, just flash me the top 10 lineups real quick?
Okay.
Because I know A-Chain's going to be in every single one.
That'd be funny if it wasn't, though.
Yep, pretty much.
There's the A-Chain Gibbs. Imagine having A-Chain and Gibbs and not cashing their top, taking it down. Ugh. Lots of the same game environments.
Browns defense.
Yeah.
Like,
by the way,
you can see, like, look, Browns defense in lane. Like, I was seeing, like, okay, so the guy at the top hit basically on everything, and the next 10 down hit on, like, the 6 or 7 core guys that he had too, but then had one, like, lane or one duck defense or something. Mm-hmm. Or I even saw Rico Dowdle up there in one lineup.
Mm-hmm. It does seem like the type of season where we're seeing just people overload on game environment.
I think that is interesting that we have, like, this was 11th place. He had 2 5 points, no snowflakes on it, but two things that he's played only scored 5 points, and it worked out for $75.
They were just extremely cheap and extremely like. If Lane had gotten him there, Lane catching a touch. How far was he away? 11th was at 216. What won the tournament?
The first place was 241. So,
yeah, I believe Lane has
first place
points.
Is 241. Like,
yes.
Hold on. What's the gap between
20?
Like, if 11th is, okay. So, like, the first place guy, he literally got everything right.
He's
and
by far
ahead.
Else.
That's why I'm like, I feel like something's off. But like,
he was just far ahead.
Except for maybe you could say Debo could have been someone else, but I don't actually know who the guy better than he was without like paying down to Parker Washington or something.
Funny little note that I noticed: this is a 3-entry max. He only entered this contest twice, so he.
Oh no, this is his second team. He could have.
That was just the second entry he entered.
Okay.
I thought just search him in Rival and see all of his 3 lineups.
True.
Like, you see what his name is. Let's look at. Actually, let's take a look at that. This is guy who won. Yeah. Go find Rival and just type in his name. Yeah, B. Hayes.
His others didn't cash. Are you kidding?
Yeah, his other 2 lineups did not even cash. This one shipped the tournament.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's how it is. I do a 3 max. Sometimes only one lineup of that 3 max even cashes.
Yeah, but to take one down and not cash the other one.
Do you think he just?
But the thing is if he put that in multiple 3 maxes, did that one take down multiple tournaments this week?
241 it could have. At 241 it definitely.
It definitely hit on all the right stuff.
I would assume he mixed this into different contests, at least in some combinations.
Probably in a single entry too. Like, that's what I do. I would have had this in the 3 max. I would have had this exact, like, if I had 3 lineups in the 3 max. Those 3 lineups would have each been in a different single entry, if not 2. They would have also been in, like, the flea flicker or a large field contest.
Because one thing I noticed,
contest, whatever you say, a play action, a millie.
Yeah. One thing I noticed from this lineup is he played a lot of PMR. Like, if I would just look at it, he obviously attacked the Lions.
He basically hit on A-Chain. He played Chalk A-Chain and Henderson Ibuka early. That's his early.
Yeah.
He hit on Chalk A-Chain and his mini stack. And after that, he just let his Jared Goff lineup ride with the Kittle McBride tight ends.
And it's funny, like, there was a weird situation at the end of the Patriots game where it's like Henderson's score could have been very different because he had time. He had broke away and he was like 20 yards away from his next defender. So he looked back to his coaching staff and basically confirmed, do I score or do I go down?
True. They called that in red zone too. You can actually
So he asked if he should not score and run out the clock. That could have changed this slate completely. That's a whole touchdown off his score.
True.
Yeah, but at 13%, like, I feel like you would be happy no matter what.
Oh, you would have been he would have flamed either way, but that's huge difference on who's taking down this contest to this contest.
No, Gub, did you play any Jared Goff? Because I thought his ownership was higher than I was anticipating. Maybe the DFS community is just getting smarter.
I heard a lot of people wanting to play him. He was definitely on a short list. You had 20 quarterbacks on them. I wasn't going to play all of them. My short list was down to 8, and then I ended up focusing on Stafford, Darnold, and Dylan Gabriel.
Yeah, that makes sense. I played Gabriel because of you and the points you made, and then I played one Goff as well.
That was a very good point. If no one
I was tossing up my Darnold, Goff, or like a Josh Allen, Lamar kind of thing. That was my last man in. I ended up on Darnold.
And by the way,
Stafford was the only quarterback I was definitely going to play at least one of.
We earned 3 new subscribers this week, so thanks for everyone who actually, decided to subscribe. Hopefully, we continue to give you guys value. I don't always say this, but if you guys want to go back and watch our process, how we built last week's lineup, I thought Gov made some really good points about just the theory of playing a cheap quarterback and playing it in a game stack where it's going to be low owned, and it probably shouldn't have been. Like, we know Tillman coming into this season was considered a number 1 guy. The fact that he had the IR tag on him.
And even if we had Tillman up to Judy, I doubt Judy was much higher owned than Tillman. Like, maybe he was 2% and Tillman was 0.9%.
Yeah, I doubt that many people played the Browns offense.
Yeah, they were around the same salary, too, because I know Jerry was $3,900. So we would have had to maneuver slightly, but it's nothing crazy.
We would have went down on defense. That's all. We would have went down from the Browns defense to that Jaguars defense, probably is what I would have said.
But almost everyone had.
I played some Tampa defense against New England, and not great, but
I was high on the Jags this week as well. Jags and Browns were my 2.
Do you think there's going to be some buyback into the strategy of paying up for quarterback? Because we've seen a lot of cheap quarterbacks hit this season. I mean, even Davis Mills hits. We talked about how bad, I think it was off camera pretty much, how bad J.J. McCarthy was, but yet he almost gets 17. So, a lot of bad quarterbacks have gotten there in terms of value because of the way they're pricing. But then you look at the high-priced quarterbacks, like Josh Allen this week, for example, does not hit. Is it just that season where you're just going to pay for a cheap quarterback and move on? Or do you think there's going to be some buyback to, paying up for some of these star quarterbacks?
My biggest pushback on that is most of these star quarterbacks, the 7,800 quarterbacks, when they're either not on the slate because they're in prime time or on an international game.
True.
The bye weeks have started, and they're on bye weeks, different weeks, because the NFL won't want to put Holmes, Allen, all those guys on a bye week on the same week.
Mm-hmm.
And if they are on a main slate, they're usually playing their crappy division opponents, like Josh Allen, and they don't need to push usually. So, or the division games don't usually push in that spot anyway. Mm-hmm. So I will say you don't get as many opportunities to play those big name quarterbacks either.
That's a good point, because maybe the sample size is small. People are going to overrate the sample size, and you're right. If they're playing the primetime games, of course, they're going to be more the showdown play.
They're going to put that Allen Mahomes is always going to be primetime. Allen Jackson, whatever. Those are the primetime games. That's what they want you to watch on Sunday night. So we don't get that as much.
Yeah, I mean, you broke it down really smartly, Gov, when you said, if you looked at the pocket of points we had to get between Gabriel and Tillman, it wasn't that much. And I remember in our private, conversations later on this week when we weren't even on air, people were like, well, what's the difference between Mills and Gabriel? And my big thing was Gabriel runs. Mills is an old quarterback. He's a veteran. He's coming in. Gabriel's he's trying to prove this is his job. He's still young and athletic.
Mills had the best run of any quarterback this week, I'll have you know.
True. He did. That was desperation. But my point was that's why JJ gets there, is because he's athletic and he can get there by himself. And then, I don't know, I think you mentioned it, there was a price difference between Mills and Gabriel. Gabriel was $400 cheaper. That $400 could mean a lot, and especially when we're seeing so much variance in defense. You got to get your defense right this year, it seems like, because a couple of defenses are spiking each week and really setting you apart. Like
to be fair, apparently you don't, because you just pay that cheap defense and they're going to score 20 every week, it seems.
You would think I knew a lot better in my results because I always pay it for cheap defense, but I haven't been able to pair it right. I did want to show the lineup that I have that personally cashed, just to show that I am on a lot of the same stuff. I was almost going to take Gibbs in a lineup. I was high on Gibbs this week. I'll show you a lineup where I did take him. And just to show you, like, you can get things right and it still doesn't do tremendous. You'll see why here in a minute. Oh, this wasn't even my Gibbs lineup I cashed. But this was my Jameson lineup with St. Brown.
Oh, you played the Dolphins defense, but you didn't play A-Chain in this lineup? Oh,
yeah.
Wasted. Oh.
Yeah, I thought about it too. And I'm like, you know what? If I get, because I didn't think the Dolphins would do that good, but I'm like, if I can just get like a baseline from the Dolphins, I don't need to pair the running back. I think Rico is a better play. Like, I just was going to play Rico everywhere.
You know what my least favorite part?
Everyone was. It was 50% on.
Yeah.
My least favorite part about playing the Lions is if I think the Lions are going to go off, I basically can't play it with a bring back because apparently they only know how to blow teams out and score 50 points for every player. And if they don't have that, then they probably didn't blow you out.
I don't even mean this to be hyperbole. If I knew Dan Campbell was calling that game, I would have told you guys to jam in Jameson Williams more than I already did. Because, like, just the narrative was saying, like, oh, the offensive coordinator was just, apologizing to James. Like, this just screamed like, oh, Dan's taking over to get Jamo the ball. And that's exactly what happened.
Yeah. I can't even be mad that Monroe failed. Like,
yeah, no, that like, and again, a game like that, same thing with Puka.
I played Snowflake.
Like those expensive guys failing, even when the game environment was right, is a little frustrating. But I can deal with that.
I'm not. I didn't lose like a gross way.
No.
I lost because I played the Rams with Puka and he didn't go. The Lions with the Monra. Like, yeah, and Jigba didn't go crazy.
I had Darnold with
Jonathan Taylor's an interesting conversation again this week now. Like, it's getting more and more interesting as it continues.
Oh, I haven't even looked at his price this week. I'm sure he's insane.
Do you want me to look?
Nope. I will do my first look later in the week.
All right, I'll look for my first, and if you see a reaction, you see a reaction. How about that? If you don't,
I told Donnie, I was like, and I don't know the price, but I told him I was like, I don't want to say this because I don't know if it's a good process. Because I was against that, like David Johnson, Christian McCaffrey.
Oh my God, he's not on the slate this week. Oh my,
he's on a bye.
I forgot.
I didn't want to ruin that genuine reaction when you realized.
Thank God the decision is gone.
But I was telling you, I'm like, dude, at 9K you have to consider him now. Like, he is now officially.
He's surpassed 9K so far, though. Like, he's so far, but he's gonna be close to that 10K combo probably when he comes back, especially off a bye week, probably.
Does the bye week help his ownership or hurt it? You think?
I think it helps.
Maybe.
I mean, I don't think anything's going to hurt his ownership till he plays bad. His ownership's his ownership till he sucks. And even then, it might still be fine.
Gov, did you watch the Panthers? I'm assuming you did.
I got to watch some of that debacle of a fucking, like, what was up with the football this week in these debacle games? Not just all three of the fucking primetime ones.
I don't know.
The Denver Rams was a debacle. Pittsburgh Chargers was a debacle. Green Bay Philly was a debacle.
To be fair about the Green Bay Philly one, was that not the most like predictable outcome of that game? Like, if you really looked at it, it's like, man, these guys have just been so inconsistent offense. They play one quarter of offense each.
I mean, yes, but no.
Hey, look, all I know is I got a Lions division share, future share, so I was happy with the result. But I was going to ask if Coker is involved because Coker's price is so tempting me. I do think he's like clearly number 2. I think he is better than Leggett. And they keep talking about how they're going to ramp him up, but yeah, he only sees like 3 to 4 targets. But then I look at Bryce Young's like completion percentage and like the Panthers just don't look like they throw it down the field at all. Gov, do you think is that like a Canales thing? Is that
Coker has ramped up snap wise? He's.
I was about to say, like, I think it's just because, like,
Coker outsnaps Leggett now.
The team is playing very smart because that's the strength of Bryce Young.
Okay? Yeah.
Let's all be real. Like, that was going to be a strength coming out of college. He's going to be a very cerebral quarterback. So that's sort of how we're running. A cerebral quarterback just runs his offense the way it's supposed to and goes against what the defense gives us. And our offense is built on the run game and a very strong run offensive line.
Yeah.
And the defense is just giving Bryce Young not a lot of deep shit. They're not really trying to stop the run as much. They're daring us to like run against 7. Like, I've looked at the data. They're daring us to run against 7 in man boxes. We're like, for a team that has Rico and such a good run game, you would think we see a very little amount of 8-man boxes.
So it's a lot of that bend but don't break defense where it's like, we're going to dare you to run. We're just going to hope that we get you in a.
And Bryce Young and Canales are just willing to run the ball with Rico and try to win all these games.
And then the defense is basically trying to stop you on a short third down play and then get off the field.
I'm wondering when and if we're going to open up the offense, but I think it's possible to happen. I thought it might happen against New Orleans, but like, who knows? It might not happen until like we need it at the end of the season.
Because I agree with you that Young's
like maybe we're waiting. Maybe we're going to play this way all the way up to our bye in week 14. And then the last 4 weeks of the season, 15, 16, 17, 18, we're just going to let it loose. And if that gets us into the playoffs and our offense is hot, watch out.
It's just an offense I don't understand because, like, I wouldn't expect Bryce Young to be Matthew Stafford and just turn himself into a gunslinger. But the amount of explosive plays that they just don't generate, given their offense given their run game should open up just the chance of some shot plays, it does surprise me.
Yeah, I think Coker will break one slate this year. One.
I agree.
That's it.
I agree. It'll take some time. Again, it might be those last 4 weeks of the year. I'll say it right now.
I want to be a part of the Coker breaking the slate, not against it.
You know why I was on Johnson? Funny reason. I kept hearing this narrative about how him and Shuck were college roommates or like college teammates, which sounds so crazy given that Shuck is a rookie. But that shows you the COVID years and the age gap and just like how college can be so weird. That they were actual college teammates. Apparently, they have a lot of chemistry. So I just took the chance pairing that with Coker. Was there any other like big hits or?
Yeah, they were teammates at Oregon and.
Yeah, I'm telling you, that's the kind of deep narrative that I like believe in sometimes, Donnie.
That's so weird. In 2019, they were teammates, and oh god.
Yeah, we all have our own narratives we believe in.
I mean, to be fair, they probably never really got much work with each other in practice, Logan. Like. The true freshman coming in is not going to work much with that senior tight end or whatever he was, junior tight end, whatever he was.
I don't know. There's still something to knowing the guy. I felt like maybe I got.
I think in college you could definitely go like half the year without knowing your teammate.
Potentially. Was there any like narratives or anything like from a game theory or game process standpoint that you thought you nailed this week, or you were ahead of the field, or you were overweight the field and you were just proud of it? Anything like that? Nothing?
No, I had a horrible week. I have nothing like
that. I think it's very hard to be ahead of the field on many things. Like,
well, no, like I could have been, like I knew that Buffalo game was going to do it. The problem was I still played a bunch of James Cook in DFS as the pivot off of A-Chain because it looked just so much better. Even though A-Chain was the chalk at the same price. And had I just played him, knowing Miami might play better and Buffalo might play poorly, so James Cook isn't as good of a play, my whole day could have been different. A lot of my lineups, I literally just gave James Cook a slightly better projection so that I'd get more of him than A-Chain.
I promise, because this is not a setup question. This is not to trigger you. And like, I think I know your answer here, but how do you take a bad week? Like, do you take anything into next week? Do you just like crumble it up and throw it like a spitball into the trash?
No, I'll do my normal review like we're doing. I'll look at my stats and see where I got stuff right, and I'll look at like I'm looking at A-Chain's stats, and I'm like,
yeah,
okay, he's high up there on my list. He gets a lot of touches. He gets a lot of work. The
but I mean,
volume was there. Like legit, he is CMC light in this offense for 2,000 cheaper. So like, when I look at the numbers, it's all there that if I thought Miami would play halfway decent to well, A-Chain was going to have a good game.
Yeah.
And since I already took the Miami and thought they would cover, and I knew Buffalo wasn't going to play well, like it just, the fact that I didn't go in on that is a little upsetting. I looked at the numbers and saw, oh, well, Miami's defense is just god awful too. And Buffalo will just crush, and James Cook crushed earlier in the year against them. And this is just going to be a smash. This is a great pivot off a chalky running back to play James Cook.
Well, that's
like, DFS theory got me to play James Cook.
Yeah.
When the right play was just the chalk of the volume guy.
That's truly the brilliance of like being a good DFS player, though. I think is being able to absorb that snowflake. Still say like, oh, okay, I got a snowflake, but I can learn from this. I have to learn from this if I ever want to win. And I think a lot of people
I can look at my own lineups. Like I hit right on Dylan Gabriel, didn't get the receiver right, but I also didn't play a whole bunch. Like I didn't play like 20 Dylan Gabriel lineups where I could hit every wide receiver. Where I had a Gabriel Njoku, I had a Gabriel Judy, I had a Gabriel. Like I didn't do that. I just had Tillman in my one single entry.
Like Donnie would tell you that I play Jameson Williams for results like this. This is the kind of Jameson Williams result game that I want, but I can't then turn around and be like, well, I got the Jameson Williams week, but I got so unlucky, guys. The football gods are against me because St. Brown didn't hit. It's like, no, I was obviously playing for a result that just didn't happen. It wasn't a bad play. It's just the outcome that I needed to actually cash this lineup significantly wasn't there. And it still profited. This lineup still profited. It just didn't do what
you look at the structure of the lineup and the theory behind it. Okay, the players didn't hit.
Yeah.
The stats say they could have. Yes. Okay. So it was just a variance week on that.
Yeah.
But like again, I look over all of this stuff during the first couple of days of the week before I dig in and write those stats down at the end of the week, so that I'll have them ready by our Friday show.
Here's a big question.
My process doesn't really change. Like if I make changes to my process, it's usually a big tweak during the off season.
Yeah.
Something I'll start doing or stop doing into next season.
That's very valuable, and I hope people take that away. Like, I can't always promise we're going to give you the best information, but truly being able to take your results as receipts or just as transactional and say, like, what did I get right? What did I get wrong? And how can I use it for next week? I think is so important. Donnie, you got any last words for the people? Nothing? I think he had to dip out anyways. Maybe we should dip out too, Gov. I think this is a pretty good show, given all the technical issues we had. Take care, guys. Good night, and we'll see you next week.
Peace out, everyone.